I'm Monica Meyer. I'm a feminist artist from Mexico City, and I'm presenting El Tendedero, the Clothesline, which is a piece I did originally in 1978. I decided to go out in the street and ask women from different social classes, education, areas in the city, what they disliked about the city, knowing very well that we would talk about sexual harassment in the public transportation. I would say, haven't you ever been harassed in the public transport? Yes, well, why don't you write that? So it was a way to start visibilizing this problem. I hope, for example, for the day when the Tendedero, people look at it and say, wow, did that really happen? That it's more like an archaeological piece. Unfortunately, I think that if 40 years later, it's only the women in power in show business or in the art world who are getting together to talk about these issues, it's going to take a very long time for all women to be able to have a voice and to talk about it. Big tycoons kicked out from their jobs or television series canceled, that won't really make a difference. It's our general culture. I've asked, for example, guys, when they start reading everything in the Tendedero and said, oh, I didn't realize women didn't like catcalls in the street or whatever. And I sort of asked them, well, when were you taught to act like this? And very often it's like, well, when I was in grammar school and a kid came and spanked a girl, and then the teacher sort of went. It's so ingrained in our everyday lives that we really have to see it, understand it, and change it. We have to change what we see in the media. We have to change the legal system so that it's easier, clearer, and possible to denounce this. But I think more than criminalizing, I believe in education. So it's a long educational process, as I say, both of men, women, and the whole system as a whole to speak up, not just in cases of sexual harassment, in cases of racism, in cases of classism, etc., that we participate more as a society. You can't not be socially engaged if you live in a country where 60% of the people live in poverty and many of them in extreme poverty. And this myth of the art market and making a living and making artwork only for galleries, museums, etc., just didn't make any sense to me. And unfortunately, right now, there's a whole generation that is very politically, of younger artists who are very politically active. And it's not because there's an interest in political art, it's because it's self-defense, you know? In the 70s, we had about 300 people who were disappeared by the government. And now I say it's like the 70s but reloaded. There's strong collectives of feminist artists, some of whom even shock me, which I like very much because I like being shocked by the strength and the vitality of the younger generation. I think it's a struggle that is both in the street, in the art world, and in the media. When you had the Women's March here, and that was also replicated all over the world, the one in Mexico, there were no feminists there. Because there's still a big problem between our countries. And that is reflected between the lack of communication sometimes between the feminist movements. I think we have to fight against that. I think the situation of the world, the situation of women, etc., is so complicated that we have to be able to make bridges, even if we feel a threat as Mexicans from the United States. We still have to be able to connect with women. I think if we realize how necessary, important, and urgent it is, we might be able to start talking. The basic thing I have learned is when I go and talk to other women, I go and talk to not as a victim, and with men as well, but as an equal trying to change things. And this is not something I came up with myself. It's something I learned from Juana Cruz, who's an indigenous organizer at Tojolobal from Chiapas. My daughter was going to go and do social service in her community, And the ONGs around her, the organizations, they said, oh, there are girls that come from private schools, you can charge them a lot. And she said, she's coming to do work here, I can pay her with what I can pay her, and she's coming to do my work. Never assume these are the rich girls from the city and they've victimized me for 1,000 years, but I am a complete, independent, strong woman, and we can dialogue. I want to grow up to be like her. I want to be able to have that patience with everyone. I have a friend who's transgender, and my ignorance about this whole subject matter was also very huge. And I went to her and asked her, and she was kind enough to tell me and explain to me and see me as a human being who's trying to change and trying to grow every day, because I have all this ignorance behind me. Even if as a feminist I've tried to work on these issues for many years, I just want to repeat the patience other people have had with me, with others. So that's what I think we could work on, and I would recommend to people, you know.